Sit at the feet of kings in the morning, in the dawn of my rise. It comes to the blessed and most learning, leaders, godly and wise. Just imagine sitting in the council of righteous game. Thousands of names condemns in a written testament. Yo, sing a song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. The amazing grace has swept over the land. Hallelujah. Sing a song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. The Messiah in woman and man. Hallelujah. Understanding that which was not known. Thought it was me, but there were angels all around. The more I learn, I see how much I don't really know. Came into my life and shake the negative down. Blessing me with strength when my weaknesses are bold. These angels are real people like man I know. The offerings of the righteous and God's inspired words. So I give unto thee thanks and praises. Sing a song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. An amazing grace has swept over the land. Hallelujah. Sing a song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. The Messiah in woman and man. Hallelujah. And some we sing with joy. Counting my blessings, yeah. One way is life, no blood. Full grace, full deliverance can be our destiny. For in this life we find, beginning up with is the Almighty, yeah. A blessing for all mankind. A proverbial stance, way for all we to see. Sing a song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. An amazing grace has swept over the land. Hallelujah. Sing a song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. The Messiah in woman and man. Hallelujah. In the morning, while I'm waking, giving praises, silent talking, conversing in my mind, trying to be real and honest with me, give me time, getting set in my ways, in my prayers, in these days. Now look back, for him commit wisdom, extolling, I God bless deliverance, praise. Sing that song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. An amazing grace has swept over the land. Hallelujah. Sing that song of a rejoicing man. Yeah, hallelujah. Hear that song, hear that song, sing that song, sing that song. Hear that song, hear that song, see that song, sing that song. Live that song, be that song, Sing that song. Sing that song. Live that song. Live that song. See that song. Sing that song. Live that song. Live that song. See that song. Sing that song. Yeah. 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 Yeah, singing praise, yeah, praise. The deliverance of righteousness that's brought you. Yeah, it's deliverance of righteousness that's brought you.
Shalom, shalom, everyone. Shalom, shalom, shalom. I'd like to thank everyone that's already tuned in and everyone that's planning to tune in. We're going to try to go ahead and post this in the group and get a few more people in the room prior to us launching here. So if you give us a moment, I'll put the music on. You guys can play, can listen to some good music while I post this in the group so we can get a quorum of individuals. Believe me, you guys that are here, you might want to go ahead on and subscribe to this channel. Hit the like button for us as well. And, share this and let some of the other brethren know. We'll be sharing some things that will help you guys out in our battle with Christianity. And so these are things that, as you guys will see, are very effective and strategies in which to use to stop the mouth of the gainsayers. So we have some great program for you guys tonight. We actually have receipts, video receipts. So if anyone's out there, can you guys hear me? You guys hear me pretty clearly out there? Someone respond to me. We got a couple people, 3 or 4 people watching here. If someone could respond and let me know if we have a good signal here or not. It appears that the mic is working there. So I'll go ahead and post this and put the music back on in the meantime, and I'll go ahead and post this in the group. Stand by for, give me a couple minutes. Thank you.
So good to dwell, flowing down the that comes to me from the mountain side. He will really rule his people and his name will last forever. Who served the firstborn in Egypt? Mitzrayim, won't you tell? The king is in your midst. Bow to him and praise his name. Of the giant king of Bashan, old Pharaoh and King Sikon. The king is in your midst. Bow to him, my life name. The most high. It's like, won't you tell? the giant king of Bashan, Pharaoh and King Sihon. The king is in your midst, bow to him while I slowed the firstborn in Egypt. Mitzrayim, won't you tell? The king is in your midst, bow to him and praise his name. Of the giant king of Bashan, Pharaoh and King Sihon. The king is in your midst, bow to him while I see his everlasting.
Okay, I appreciate you guys' patience out there. Just posting this in the groups real quick. So we can get a sort of a quorum of believers here.
Mercy is everlasting, never change.
Okay, and I think I did something wrong.
All the dirt I did, I'll be stuck in my sin. I done a lot of things I'm not proud of, but I'm so glad that he's willing to forgive me of my sins, and I'm so glad. Oh, 'cause I don't stand a chance if it's based on my goodness, and I don't stand a chance if it's all about me. So now I'm leaning and depending on the fact that he died for me. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. 'Cause I was in my sins, couldn't get out. He sent his son to bring me out. I'm so grateful, yeah. I'm so thankful. I was in my sin, I couldn't get out. Oh yeah, he sent his son to bring me out. I was headed for destruction, and I know it, but I'm so glad, yeah, that he had a change in plans in my future. I'm so glad.
All right. I got it in a couple groups out there. Unfortunately, I am on the dolo this evening. But we're going to go ahead and get right into the program there. Try to share my screen here. Just for you guys to get some context of what's going on and the purpose of this video. I recently have been posting a series of questions. Actually, it's been longer. A series of questions to the Christian community, the Christian apologetic community, the woke Christian community. And, I've asked several questions there, a few questions there, which they have been unable to answer. And so a few days ago, I saw a post right after I made a post, and I'll bring that up for you guys here, see if I can get that. And so we can get the context. I don't want you guys to think that this is a bash session. It really isn't. It's really a shame that the Christendom is in the state that it's in, and that, their followers do not have, biblically literate and aware individuals that's leading them. So we're going to get right into this. We have a bunch of receipts. This will be the first of many, first of a series where we'll be taking actual receipts. And we'll be letting these Christian apologists stick their foot in their own mouths. So like I said, you guys, if you could go ahead and share this, especially some of the Hebrew brethren that's in the debate scene, this will be a jewel for them. We're going to show you definitive proof of the claims that we've been making, as far as Christianity, Pauline Christianity is concerned. And, we'll be actually documenting that. So, and we'll be doing it with, in most cases, with out of the mouths of these so-called apologists themselves. So now the backdrop for this, let me go ahead and share my screen for this video. Like I said, there was a question posed in response to my terrorizing of the woke Christian community and, the woke Christian apologists. The brother he posted, Christian Apologist, many of you may know him, Matt Salih, aka SSOREAL. He actually went ahead and posted made a post in Facebook in regards to the doctrines that Christianity teaches. So it has been my paradigm and my position, that Christianity is not biblical. In fact, it is condemned in the Bible. And I've been, trying to get apologists and pastors and scholars and things of that nature to actually do a side-by-side comparison with me of their religion, the religion of Pauline Christianity. So now let me see if I can go ahead and get this actual post for you guys so you guys can see it. Go ahead and share my screen with you guys here as soon as I find the buttons. There, go here, share the screen, share the entire screen. Okay, can you share the entire screen? Share. Okay. Now, let's see if we can actually find this post. I was in the process of trying to post in the various groups, and so therefore I am off the page, and now I'm trying to go back, which it should be going back, and it is actually not doing it there for me like I wanted to. Okay, so let's do this here. Let's go to, appreciate you guys' patience. You certainly will not want to miss this. As I said, for you guys that may be just tuning in or that will tune in later, if you can go ahead on and like this video and share it if you will. If you could share it to the community at large. As I stated, it's going to be a lot of information here within these series that is going to bless you. It's going to be a blessing to you. It's going to help you defend the way. Oh, goodness gracious, my screen. It's going to help you defend the way. And it's going to help when we're, showing that the doctrine that Christianity, the doctrines that Christianity promulgate is not in the scriptures. So I'm done filibustering here. This thing should be coming up here so we can actually get some context. I don't like to do videos and things without context. And so we had this brother here. You guys may be familiar with him. He calls himself a woke Christian apologist, or he's a part of that community. He's also an author of books, a book recently, from what I hear. And, he's, pretty much known on the online community and all of that, and in the apologetic circles. So now, he asked a question, and this is the backdrop. I want you guys to keep that in mind, if you will. The question was actually asked as to what false doctrines does traditional traditional Christian church teach. So this is the context of this video. I think the title of the video being The Death of Pauline, Christian Apologetics and Theology, the Meltdown SSOREAL. The Meltdown SSOREAL. That's a play on the brother's name. His name is so real, but the meltdown was really real. We're going to get into it in a moment. I'm going to let you guys see and give you guys some, of the actual debate. The debate was about an hour and 46 minutes, hour and 50 minutes or so long. So we'll try to, get to the pertinent points. I didn't get a chance to actually, do my timestamps and all of that. Maybe we will be able to get to that in subsequent, parts of the series. But anyway, so we got to establish this context. Now, the brother, posted these questions and I responded. So I responded and, the questions, like I said, number one, we never really got past number one. We never dealt with number one. And that's one of the issues that we're going to be dealing with here. One of the tactics, which you guys will see in this video of these so-called Christian apologists and things of that nature, what they will do is cause a bunch of distractions, which we call logical fallacies and, disturbances and things of that nature, so that you cannot get your point across, so that they can stop you from getting your point across, and they can look like, they have refuted, things in which they haven't. So we're going to slow that down. I've been promising these guys for about, a few years now, that I had a documentary and that I was going to be documenting a lot of this stuff. So pretty much what I've been doing in my debates, with them, is letting them hang themselves. And, the noose is already tight and they're hanging from the tree. So I think it's time to go ahead and let the dogs out and get these receipts out there. So once again, like I said, go ahead and subscribe. Like the video, make sure you click the bell thingy so that you can get the updates to these series, because I have a lot of receipts. These guys post a lot. So they post a whole lot and folks don't actually listen to them, especially those in their community don't actually listen to them. They just follow the blind, leading the blind, and they'll agree. And you guys are going to see that. They'll jump into the comments and talk a bunch of obnoxious stuff, in support of the nonsense that these apologists and the ignorance that these apologists, display. So here we go. We're going to get right into it. The context is, like I said, we never really got past number one. We never really do. But anyway, what false doctrines does the traditional Christian church teach? So now this brother thinks he's trapping up the Hebrew community. No one can answer this because I put out 3 questions, days before that, and they haven't been able to answer them. It's been a year or two now, 2 years since I put a challenge out to the whole woke Christian community at large, to be able to do this comparison of Christianity, the doctrines that Christianity teach, and compare that with the Bible, without the eisegetical or misinterpreted or proof text interpretation of Paul, the proof text versions of Paul that these guys had. And what you guys are going to see is that they're unable to do it. They have not been able to do it in the past few years. And, to this day, I have not had one to actually come forth and without a whole bunch of secondary arguments, ad hominem personal attacks, distractions, questions, things of that nature in the middle, yelling and screaming. Oh, you guys are going to get a treat. This brother made himself look so bad, so bad that, the woke Christian community had to come together and get some pastors and apologists together on a platform to try in an attempt to, recover their image, right? To do some damage control. So enough talking. What false doctrines does traditional Christian church teach? What does a Jew in Christ receive that a Gentile in Christ does not? And number 3, does Jesus and the apostles teach the law teach that the law must be kept. Now, it's not just, you guys are arguing over Facebook. This is petty and childish. These are serious issues. These are fundamental issues to salvation. So all of those of us who, subscribe and accept Yahushua as the Mashiach, then these questions are very, pertinent. So, like I said, for you Christians out there, you guys that are practicing Christianity, you are about to get a biblical comparison of your religion. And so we're going to answer that question that brother Matt Salih, brother SSOREAL, the Christian apologist and author, asked us. He asked us what false doctrines or what teachings does the traditional, you'll hear him rephrase it, what teachings of the traditional Christian church is false or unsound? As I stated, we're going to get, I gave him his answer here. You guys will see the answer here. I said Christianity was founded upon the heretical doctrines like these. And we're going to, unmistakably, undeniably prove that in this lesson. Unmistakably and undeniably prove that. Christianity was founded upon false and heretical doctrines like these: to forsake the law of Moses, not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. Three things that I put to the brother when he asks what doctrines, what false teachings do Christians teach? Does the traditional Christian church or Pauline Christianity teach? Pauline Christianity and the traditional church teaches that the law is done away with, that it's abolished, that it's no longer in effect. And you're going to see that. I'm telling you that, as you'll see, these guys are very deceptive. Some of them will, try to be rhetorical and philosophical, duplicitous. They'll tell you, we don't believe that, in one instance when it's convenient for them. And then you guys are going to see that, physically see that video out of these guys' mouth. I'm gonna let them hang themselves, and I've been given a warning. So anyway, they'll be duplicitous and say they don't believe that, and then they do believe that, but that they don't believe that. It's total confusion designed to throw you off. And so we want to be, the Most High is not the author of confusion. And so we want to clear that confusion up and show you guys how to actually do it. Show you guys, what works, what's effective in defending the way, and how to, pretty much get the goat of these guys and get them to show their true colors, which they did on yesterday, something terribly. So my answer to this brother was answer to the question on paper, and we're going to get into the video just a moment. But, the answer, I'm trying to set the context so that you guys will see and understand, because that's very important. Context is important. And so even in this situation. And so the brother asked the question, what doctrines, what teachings does Christianity teach, or the traditional Christian church teach, that is unsound or false by biblical standards? That's the question on the table. Please remember that. Please remember that this is the question and that is the topic. Please remember that. Okay. So now my answer to him was, number one, to forsake the law of Moses. That's one of the doctrines that Christianity teaches, that the traditional church teaches, that we are not required to keep the law of Moses. Also, that circumcision is not a requirement for Hebrew. Let me make this clear, because we had, in one of my receipts, we got an obnoxious sister, which I don't know if we'll get to today. Maybe we'll get to a piece of it, but I'll do it in part two. An obnoxious Christian, Paulinian, one of these Pauline Christians, lied, flat out lied, and said, that I teach, that trying to force circumcision on Gentiles. So let's be clear here. Not to circumcise refers to the Hebrews. And you'll hear me state it in the video, even though these guys make a whole separate video, which you guys will see, because their apologist got destroyed, his argument got destroyed, these guys did a whole separate 4-hour video. 4 hours. So it's no way that we can get into all of that in one session. I want to keep this session maybe about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at the most, because I don't want to lose you guys' attention. And I want to have the opportunity to grow the channel by having a part 2 and part 3 and all of that good kind of stuff. So this is the answer. So immediately the brother says, and I gave scriptures, as you'll see here. But so the brother said, are you available to go live? I say, yes, yada, yada. And the rest is history, of which you're about to see. So let's see if I can go ahead and pull this up. I downloaded the video, so it's not actually in there because these guys like to delete stuff. And so no sooner as I get them, I go ahead and download them so that they cannot delete the evidence. So let's go ahead and get right into this video. For those of you guys that missed the debate, you know, between Brother SSOREAL and I, it was supposed to be on the topic discussion. Remember that. I'm going to keep saying that the topic is what doctrines, for those of you guys that are just tuning in as well, what doctrines does Christianity teach, or that the traditional Christian church teach, that is unsound or false by biblical standards? Now we're going to go ahead and let this play a little bit so you guys can, and this is on his channel, so he does a lot of the talking and all of that stuff. So we'll try to get over the, get through the rhetoric and get to the issues. Can you guys hear this video? I'm going to pause it for 1 second. Can you guys hear the video? If you can send me, for those of you watching that are my friends, you can send it to me in Messenger, because I'm not too good with the with seeing in the chat. Let's see if I can see something in the chat here. Let's see if I can actually get into the chat. Maybe I can look at it on my phone and be able to see whether you guys are seeing. Just bear with me 1 moment, please. Okay. Let's get rid of the music here. Let's go back to Marbury there. Okay, you can't hear me? You can't hear the video. Okay. Let me do this. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to take the headphones off. I'm not sure why you guys cannot hear me. So what I'm going to do is remove these headphones real quick. I'll go ahead and turn them off. Let's see if that works. Video. Okay, let me do this. Okay, so I think I'm going to have to take the headphones off. I'm not sure why you guys cannot. Okay, so yeah, I gotta. So now you guys can hear me. So I think I have too many things going on here as well. So let me do this. Let me try to find that YouTube thingy here and make sure that is on mute. Let's do that. Let's try that. Let's mute this. All righty then. So now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start this video here. Go ahead and start the video. And if you guys have any problems hearing it, just let me know. So this is the actual discussion. I want you guys to pay close attention. You guys have to watch. I'm going to be watching with you, and we're going to go through it. I appreciate everyone. I see. I'd like to give a shout out to Sister Sheikah. I appreciate to see you out there. I can't see everyone out there, but I know Sister's on the line here. Okay, now how do I go back to playing this thing? Don't have a play button here. Oh, wow. So let me, don't have a play button. Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put this in the back chat for you.
Okay, let's
so that way you could
past this.
Share it with us.
If you guys have any problems with the volume, just let me know.
Title, I'm beginning, something else, which is a Christian Hebrew dialogue. Now, don't worry, I've not forgotten about our reading through since season 1, and because of that, it just kind of reformulated a lot of my questions, a lot of my focuses, and I'm getting a lot of belief. And I want to walk through and really see if the things that...
Now, just to fill you in, maybe, like I said, in a subsequent, and also I'll be putting the entire video without my editing, without my commenting. This entire video will be posted on the channel. So as I stated before, you will want to put your hit the bell and go ahead and make sure you subscribe to subsequent programs. But in this, just let me go ahead and explain this so we can get this out the way. He's, making it seem like he had a conversation with me and I couldn't, whatever. It's not very clear whether he's talking about someone else or he's talking about me, and as if he asked me some things and as if I held to certain ideologies as some of the other Hebrew brethren. We know that there are, different sects among Hebrews as there are among Christian, and as it was in the days of in the first century itself. We know you had your sect of Essenes, your Nazarenes, your Pharisees and your Sadducees. So you had different sects then, and even amongst the followers of the Mashiach, you had your Ebionites, you had your Nazarenes. They were one at one time. They end up splitting, and you had other followers of the way that varied in their belief. So that's not, an issue. The issue here is that the brother is making it seem like I uphold to something that I don't. And this is what these guys do. They are very deceptive, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to prove it to you. I'm not just going to talk about it and sit up here and talk your head off all day. I'm going to show you guys the receipts just like I promised. These guys, is no way they can take their foot out of their mouth, because I already have the video. So even if they delete it or take it down, I still have the receipts, as you guys are going to see. So, and I have hours and hours and upon hours of receipts of these guys contradicting what they're saying now, going back and forward and sticking their foot into their mouth, lying, being deceitful, causing disruption so that you can't get to the issue. We're going to see all of that here. And the reason why I'm bringing this out is so that you guys will be aware, and when you guys are dealing with them, and when you guys are attempting to have discussions and debates with these guys, these are the tactics that they use. So I want you guys to pay close attention to that. So he's trying to make these people seem like he had a conversation with me, and I believe that, I have a problem with the Mashiach being, the Passion being on Friday or what have you. And this I do, but that's not even, we didn't even have that discussion, first and foremost. But anyway, let's get on with this video.
Just I believe as a Christian, just some of the things, some of the basic things. I want to see, if they really are wrong from a Hebrew perspective,
Now, he says he really want to see if these things are wrong, but we're going to see if that's actually true. We're going to see if that bears out.
If a professing Hebrew says that some of the basic things that I believe is wrong, then a walk through the scriptures and a dialogue would do wonders to many. The second question is that what does a Jew in Christ get or receive that a Gentile does not, right? That Jesus is going to give things to, people that believe in him. Will he give something to Jews in Christ and him that he will not give to Christians? The third question is, where does Jesus and the apostles teach for us to keep the law under the new covenant? So those are the three questions that, you know, I pretty much just had. I'm definitely going to have tons more. But for now, these are three questions I've been, you know, pretty much asking, just a few of them for days. Some of them said, you know, that we teach that Jesus died on Friday, you know, the day of preparation, and they said that was wrong. During the Facebook conversation, that has yet to be proven. And so, unfortunately, he never got back to me.
As you guys see, he's saying he said this. We never had this conversation, but he's making it appear that we've had this conversation. So pretty much what he's doing is trying to precondition his audience, his followers, against what I'm about to say. This guy's a heretic. He talk all of this crazy stuff, you know, that's going stuff I didn't. So he's already trying to get them preconditioned against the message. So you got to be, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. You got to watch these guys. They're very shady and shysters pretty much amongst Israel. And so, you know, I try to, you know, not be that way and try to find the good in everyone. But man, I just cannot, you know, get over this. You know, that the past few days has been very enlightening, to say the least. But I'm gonna go ahead and let this rock. As you see, he keeps saying he. We never had this conversation, and I'm gonna check him, and then we're gonna get to the issues because I don't want to waste a lot of time. But I did want to give you guys a part because some of you guys didn't get to see the video. As I stated, the video in its entirety, from front to end, without being edited, will be posted for you guys' review.
Other people have said that Sabbath keeping and circumcision keeping is what Jesus and the apostles taught, and that the early church had spoken against it and basically, you know, just did not practice it. From there, he had a very hard time tracing that kind of thing through the early church and through the New Testament. Because he kept seeing that no matter where you go, just those two things are not spoken of in any kind of sense of favor. And like I said, through these dialogues, I'm just trying to see if what things that I believe as a Christian are actually just not, you know, just not the way, you know. And if someone's going to have that kind of dialogue with me, you know, it may as well be a professing Hebrew, because this is, you know, often the things that they tell me off air. And so with that being said, that's all I really wanted to say. You know, I mean, Sam, you could just like give a greeting, man, and then after that, you know, I'll just go ahead and ask you the first question about, you know, is there anything that I believe as a Christian, you know, that is not, you know, sound doctrine?
Now, I got to stop it right there. You guys have heard it out of his own mouth. This is the brother's platform. I want you guys to remember that as well. It's his question, his platform. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. His question, his platform. His question, his platform.
Okay, I'd like to say shalom to everyone. Can you hear me out there?
You loud and clear.
Okay, I'd like to say shalom to everyone. Actually, I don't know. You're saying he. First and foremost, you're saying he. I didn't have this conversation with you, so I wanted to make that clear that the he that you was referring to is not me. Yeah, it's certainly not me. My position on the day that Mashiach was crucified is that it's a discrepancy. The Synoptic Gospels is different from the account in John. The account in John is where we find, I believe it's the 7th chapter, 19th chapter. Matter of fact, around the 31st verse, it tells you that John's opinion and perspective was that the Mashiach died on the day of the Passover. That paradigm and opinion conflicts with that of the synoptic gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, which says that he died on the day of the Passover. So there's a conflict there. So I just wanted to clarify my position on that and clarify the fact that I am not the one that is making those claims, one. Two, I am a Nazarene Hebrew, not to be confused with some of the other sects, if you will, of Hebrewism. But just to make that clear, I am a Nazarene and I hold to specific views which a lot of my Hebrew brethren does not agree with. But with that being said, we have these questions. Oh, first, let me get the link because I didn't get that back. I don't know how to get to the back message or whatever with them as well.
Awesome.
All right.
Well,
so then your first question you asked, did you want me to go ahead and get right into it, or you had something else?
No, I definitely wanted you to just, get right into it, because,
okay.
Obviously, this is something that you left in the comment section. And
right.
So, you're one of the many people that told me some things. So I just want to know, as a Christian, can you name one thing?
Did you guys hear that? You're one of the many people that told me some things. Now, there's nothing in his prelude that he spoke of that we ever spoke about. I've debated with this guy. I had, been on his program, I think twice, and he's been on mine twice. So we've like 3 or 4 times. So, and I'd have a wealth of information, coming out of this guy's mouth. This guy is absolutely unbelievable. But, I'm going to let you guys hear it from his own mouth. But you can see I clear up and try to clear up that I'm not one of these ones that is making these claims. He go back to making it, appear as if you are one of the ones that, the nonsense is already started, but it is just getting started. Believe me.
Saying that you, say that I believe that, is not, sound doctrine, that's false doctrine. And the reason why I'm asking this question is because, I'm constantly thinking about the teens, the young people, what we teach them. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, cool. As you stated, this is a good topic because we can get right into it, and we can compare Christianity, classic and fundamental Christianity, with the Bible, and that's what that's what I do.
So now I told him, my goal is to compare the two, compare classic and traditional Christianity to the Bible. That's the object, and that was supposed to be, what we were doing here. And I'll let you guys in the end be the judge as to whether that took place, and if not, then why. So we're going to get into that.
Let me go ahead and try to pull up this post that you made so we can shoot me the link. Okay, that should be it there. See if I can pull that up there. Am I able to share my screen here?
Let me see. The screen is on you, but it only has your icon.
Okay, cool. Let me go ahead and let me see here. I gotta do that, and then oh, wait a minute. What do I have to do? Okay, I'm tired. Working doctrines, the traditional keyword Christian church teach. Okay, so what I want to do is go into the scriptures. The scriptures, my answer was Christianity, and as you guys can see that here, Christianity was founded upon false and heretical doctrines like these 3. You asked for 1, I gave you 3. And this is directly out of the book, it's out of the Bible. And so it said Christianity was founded upon false and heretical doctrines like, number one, Christians teach, traditional Christianity teaches a annulment or voiding of the commandments of Moses, the law of Moshe, that was given to Moshe, I should say. The second thing that traditional Christianity teaches is circumcision is irrelevant. There's no requirement under the new covenant, and I'm doing my quotations in the air right now. Under the new covenant, there's no requirement for Hebrew males to be circumcised, all of them, on the 8th day as commanded. That's a fundamental and a trick.
Now, I got to stop this there. Got to stop this and take this back again, because you're going to see this obnoxious, loud, ignorant, uneducated sister later on. She's one of the Apologist crew. As a matter of fact, she's a good friend of this guy, SSOREAL, Matt Salih, and you're going to see her lie. She put a flat out lie. She can't remove it because I have the video, and say, you teaching people. I'm screaming because she was screaming, giving you guys a context. You told people Gentiles gotta be. Yes, you did. I got the receipts. I'm gonna show you how they. I watched the video 4 times. You guys are gonna get to see it. You guys are oh my goodness. I mean, 4 hours of nonsense. But let's get back to this. I just wanted to make a note. You guys out there that's making timestamps and all that, take a timestamp of this at 13:12. I said Hebrew, all Hebrew, all Hebrew. The very first time that I mentioned this circumcised in my discourse, I qualified it by saying Hebrews. You're going to see them lie, flat out lie, knowing that I didn't say this, because they said they watched the video 4 or 5 times. And, I told them that I didn't say this. And this is what they're promulgating to their people, because they have no defense for this. Those of you guys that are out there, once again, take these scriptures down, and this is what they cannot defend them. They cannot. The only thing they do is yell, scream, make up side arguments, talk about what color your shoes are and all that other kind of stuff, and avoid the issue. You're going to see that in there. This guy is, just take note of that. Okay. I don't know what's going on here now. Let me hide that. Okay, there we go.
The book is out of the Bible. And so it said Christianity was founded upon false and heretical doctrines like, number one, Christians teach, traditional Christianity teaches a annulment or voiding of the commandments of Moses, the law of Moshe, that was given to Moshe, I should say. The second thing that traditional Christianity teaches is circumcision is irrelevant. There's no requirement under the new covenant, and I'm doing my quotations in the air right now. Under the new covenant, there's no requirement for Hebrew males. Remember that. To be circumcised, all of them, on the 8th day as commanded. That's a fundamental and a traditional view that we find in the writings of the church fathers. So we know this is fundamental and foundational to Christianity. Number 3 is neither to walk after the customs. So where did I actually get these from? So let's go to the scriptures, and let's see where I actually got this from. I want to read it directly from the text, so no one doesn't think that I just made up these questions to attack Christianity. That, it's something, these questions I just got out of the air, just to cause some kind of
deal with. So the first one that we are going to deal with is that.
Now, notice, here's the first interruption. Why would you ask me which first one we are dealing with? You just stated that. You just stated we're going to deal with the first question. I'm going to ask you this question. less than 3-4 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. And did you conveniently forget that? Or are you trying to interrupt to cause a distraction? It's already starting. Watch it. Watch him. It's already started. He's going to consistently do this throughout. And throughout every debate we've had, he's done this. What's the other guy? The DJ, Brother J, the DJ, G-Con. All of them does this. The screaming Sister Cherry, a sister, all of them, and the pastors that she had. You want to see this consistently throughout. They will not allow you. You will give them the courtesy of allowing them to make their points, even though you disagree with them, and they'll continue to disrupt to get you off your game. And he did a couple times in here. This is why I'm warning you guys. You guys are going to see. So here's where it starts at. Why do you need to ask me? So what we're starting with now is what doctrines, whether Christianity is false, the doctrines that they teach are false. Bruh, you know what it is. You're just trying to cause disruptions and distract from the point. Stop me from making the point.
To teach that we don't have to keep the law of Moses. That's the first one that we're going to deal with.
The first one that we're dealing with is where we are now is what doctrines does Christianity teach that's heretical? What is the problem? That's the first question. So that's the one that I'm answering. And I gave you guys the outline. Now I'm going to show you guys where it comes from. Acts chapter number 21, verse number 21. As a matter of fact, I want to get context and start at verse number 17. It says, and when we were come to Jerusalem, the brothers received.
For you guys out there, especially for the Hebrews and those that will get to watch this, go ahead and write these scriptures down, because this is death to these Christian apologists. They will not deal with it. They cannot deal with it. They have no logical answer that makes sense other than Christianity. This text here is a condemnation of Christianity, a direct condemnation of traditional and fundamental Christianity. Take a note, highlight it in your Bible, and the next time you come across one of them, you whip this out and watch how they scatter like roaches, how they try to how they try to turn into clowns and start playing around and asking, and kids asking, well, I just want to ask you a question to stop you from getting this message out there and stop you from showing that they have no defense to this. So you guys want to take a note of this. This is the Christianity killer right here. This is the nail in the coffin for Christianity, period. It's a flat out denial. You're going to see that. And you're going to watch how the brother avoid dealing with this issue. Watch.
Keep this gladly, so that we know Paul and his companions went to Jerusalem. Verse 18, and the day following, Paul went in with us unto James and all the elders. So Paul had a meeting with James, and all the elders was present, most likely Peter and all of that. I added that. Text doesn't say that, but it says all the elders were present. Acts 21 and 19, it tells us that Paul brings up the subject. Paul is bragging about his Greco-Roman Gentile converts that he was bringing to the Mashiach, bringing it to Yasharal, into the Kahal, the community. And James does something in verse number 21. James actually changes the subject. So we see here in 19, it says, and when he had saluted them, he declared particularly what things Elohim had wrought among the Goyim by his ministry. So Paul is talking about what happened with the Gentiles. Verse number 20. And when they heard it, they glorified Yahuwah.
Okay, remember this timestamp as well. 16 and 10. I apologize. I hate to cut it off in the midst of my discourse like I just accused them of doing. But here's another point I want you guys to make and take note of this timestamp, because one of the pastors on the panel lied and tried to make it seem like I skipped over the part that says they glorified Yahuwah and said unto him, verse in Acts 21 and 20. Another red herring distraction and a lie, just a flat out lie, a flat out lie that I didn't say they glorified Yahuwah in Acts 21. You're going to hear him. I don't know who this country bumpkin pastor dude sound like. He was from the deep south somewhere. You watch him jump over. That's not even the point, but we're going to get to it. You guys are going to see this nonsense, but here's the receipts for you guys here. This is actual. You're going to see them destroy their own selves. Watch it.
And said unto him, thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Yahudim there are which believe, and they are all zealous of the law. So now what James did here is that he changed the focus from the Gentiles to the Yahudim, the Jews that believed. So they were believers. They weren't Judaizers. They were believers. They weren't Pharisees outside of the sect of the Nazarene. They were believers. That needs to be taken note there. And they are all zealous for the law. So James changes the subject to the Yahudim and their zeal for the law. For the law. He does that for a reason, but it's important that we take note of that. Verse number 21 is where we get the foundational traditional Christianity from.
Here we go. If you want to cut it short, you want a verse that just shut these guys down, go put them in a shell, cause them to run, cause them to all the demons in them to come out and start cussing and fussing and talking about punching people in their mouth and all of that stuff instead of dealing with the issues. If you want to get the devil, if you want the devil to manifest in these folk, and so you can see who they are, this is it. Acts 21 and 21.
This is where I extracted my doctrines that Christianity espoused, that is anti-Christ, anti the Bible, and against the doctrine of the apostles themselves. Watch this. Acts chapter number 21. And they are informed. Check out that word informed. Rumors of thee, because we're going to see that again in Romans about the report. And they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Goyim to forsake Moshe. In other translations like the NLT, it gives you more clarity, and it tells you the law of Moses, because that's what's being talked about. To forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. So what I did was extracted those three doctrines from here, all which are fundamental and foundational to Christianity, which scholars call Pauline Christianity, and I made them the point. Point number one, to forsake the law of Moses, right here. Point number two, not to circumcise their children.
Now I'm gonna stop this right here. I have one of the viewers was asking, what is Pauline Christianity? And if you guys remind me, I'll go ahead and get into that. And Pauline Christianity is modern day Christianity, pretty much. And what that's based on based on Paul. They subscribe to Paul. They can't defend the scriptures without Paul. Their whole doctrine is based on their paradigm of Paul. It's not based on the Bible itself. And so one of the sisters asked, well, what is Pauline Christianity? Well, sis, that is I'm trying not to give you the technical term, but 19th and 20th century scholars took a look and they did a comparison, like what I'm attempting to do here now, between traditional, classic, fundamental Christianity of the 19th and 20th century, which, we're still a part of that movement. It's, 100, 200 years ago or so, when they broke away from the Catholic Church and the Protestant Church and their stranglehold that they had on the educational systems, where they could not talk about anything that went contrary to, certain doctrines, certain theologies, certain paradigms. And so with the explosion of the Age of Enlightenment and all that other kind of stuff, folk was like, look, man, the Bible ain't no different than any other book. And so we're going to start applying the same scientific principles and scientific methods to studying it and finding out its truths. as we do the other books. And what they found out was that there's a stark difference between Pauline Christianity, between the Christianity of modern times, and what they called early Christianity. I disagree with the terminology Christianity altogether, but this is what the scholar says, that which is in the Bible. In other words, Judeo-Christianity versus Greco-Roman Christianity. That's pretty much how the scholars of the 19th and 20th century put it. I don't want to get off task. I want you guys to get into this video. And so that's what Pauline Christianity is in the answer to the sister's question.
Because we're going to see that again in Romans about the report. And they are informed of thee, that thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Goyim to forsake Moshe. In other translations like the NLT, it gives you more clarity, and it tells you the law of Moses, because that's what's being talked about here. To forsake Moses, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. So what I did was extracted those three doctrines from here, all which are fundamental and foundational to Christianity, which scholars call Pauline Christianity, and I made them the point. Point number one, to forsake the law of Moses, right here. Point number two, not to circumcise their children. Point number three, neither to walk after the customs. So this is. Give me 1 second.
Here we go. Here we go. Now, I'm showing you guys what they do, so you will know. So you will know. Now watch him. He know he done messed up. He know he has no answers. He know he cannot defend this in no shape, form, or fashion. He's not prepared for this. So the only thing he can do is, I have a question. You're not, he's trying not to let me finish the point, and he has a question. And you guys going to see that he's going to tell you out of his own mouth and show you with his actions in this video that he purposely caused disruptions. This is not he's going to purposely show you that in the video. I said they put their foot in their mouth, and I got the receipts. Trust me, I do.
And I'll be finished. I'm just about finished.
This is the way I'm going to do this. You know, because as you're going, I'm just going to ask questions and make further clarity. I'm not going to cut you off. Okay.
Now check this out. You're not going to cut me off, which is what you're doing, but you're going to ask questions to get further clarity. When the scripture says, consider the end of the matter, how you going to get further clarity on something you haven't heard? Y'all see the nonsense? You haven't heard the end of the conclusion. You haven't heard my argument because I haven't finished making it. But yet you're already, I got questions. That's to call a distraction. These guys, he's causing a distraction because he's done. He know he's done. If I say he got me, he's in checkmate right now. So the only thing he can do is just act irrational, and you're going to see that. Act irrational and illogical and try to keep talking because he's real smooth. The brother is real smooth, man. I'm trying to tell you. The brother is real smooth, and I'm not doing this to you. This is not what I'm doing. I'm not doing this all the while you're doing it. It's just like the policeman out there today. You stop resisting. And everybody's watching the video and see the person is not resisting. But they're trying to create witnesses. I went through the law enforcement training as a private law enforcement, and that's what they teach you to do. You got to create a witness. So you yell and scream, hey, stop, don't do that. I know that's not a gun. So that you got people around and say, guess what? I heard the policeman say this, so it must be true. You got people 5 blocks away say, yep, I heard the police screaming that stop resisting. So the guy must, but now that we have the videos, we see this guy's not even resisting. But these guys will still tell you, the police force will still tell you, even though you're watching it, these guys were still resisting. And you're watching it, and they're still official. That's these guys. That's what he's doing here. I'm not going to cut you off, but what we're going to do here is I'm going to ask you questions. Every time you say 2 words, I'm going to keep asking you questions so that you won't get to your point. That's what he's actually saying. I gotta break this up. I can't let this dude get this out. Y'all gonna see it for yourself, though.
Who is making the accusation against Paul that he's teaching these things?
And this is called a red herring argument. Let me pull this up on the screen for you guys. Now this is his clarity. Now he's bringing clarity by bringing in a secondary argument, which is called a red herring or avoiding the argument fallacy. Let me pull it up for you guys. Let me see if I can get to this Google. Am I on the Google? Am I on my, okay. Now I'm going to show you guys this. No, I'm on something else. So I want to go to that though. Oh, because I got to go down here. Okay. Now let me pull this up for you guys real quick. Because some of you guys keep hearing me say that, and they say, well, you keep saying that a lot. That's all he knows is red herring arguments. But the truth of the matter is all these apologists know how to do is bring logical fallacies and try to cause distractions like this brother. Now, what kind of clarity are you bringing by bringing in a side argument? Well, who gave the rumors to them? You see that? Who gave the rumors to them? It's irrelevant. It's a secondary argument. It's irrelevant to what we're talking about here. So let me go ahead and type this in for you guys so that keep hearing it. And some of you guys do not want to go, you guys don't want to go into it yourself. Let's check out what this logical fallacy is. It's also called, if you look it up, I don't know if we're going to find it in this setting, but a red herring is also called an avoiding the argument fallacy. And so what that's telling you is what this brother is doing is trying to avoid the argument. So let's click on this. Logical fallacies, red herrings, right? Let's see what that says. The red herring is as much a debate tactic. You see this? Tactic as it is a logical fallacy. So this is war strategy, y'all. This is war strategy that these guys are using and employing to try to be deceptive and try to keep from folk knowing that they have no answers, none that make sense anyway. You're going to see that. The red herring is as much as a debate tactic as it is a logical fallacy. It is a fallacy of distraction. Y'all see that there? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? I didn't make this up. I learned about this stuff maybe a couple years ago. I vaguely went over it in high school on a debate. I think we went over one or two, but I wasn't introduced to all this maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So, but okay, the red herring is as much a debate tactic as it is a logical fallacy. It is a fallacy of distraction, right? And is committed when a listener attempts to divert an arguer from his argument. So this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to divert from the argument. And you're going to see this. You're going to see his topic is what doctrines do the Christian church teach that is unbiblical and unsound. And when I give it to him, he has no defense. So now he resorts to a red herring argument. Well, who was the people that was listening? Instead of answering, giving his rebuttal and saying, no, Christianity don't teach these, or Christianity teaches this, because he goes to causing distractions, because he know either route that he goes, he going to tighten that noose around his neck. That's what's going on here, right? So just to know, Sam didn't make this up. And every time you see these guys doing this, this is what they're doing. It's called a red herring argument or avoiding the argument fallacy, because that's exactly what they're trying to do, to divert an arguer from his argument by introducing another topic. Now, we're talking about the doctrines that whether Christian doctrine is biblically sound or not, and he's talking about, and you're going to see how futile it is, because he's going to stick his own foot in his mouth. That's what he's going to do. This is what talking nonsense that out of the side of your neck and trying to, you know, finesse this like we in the world, trying to, you know, we 19 running around trying to game some females or something and spit game to them. This is the same thing that these folks are on, man. Modern day, they pimping you guys, you know, filling you guys. No, this is not what that means because of this and that. They saying a whole bunch of talking and saying a whole bunch of nothing. That's all they doing, is making empty noise. So you guys see this. This can be one of the most frustrating. This is why you guys see me get frustrated a little bit. And they do it on purpose to get you frustrated so you'll forget your point. And you'll see it. He got me on here on Acts 15 when I had a few verses that I wanted to touch there. And I end up jumping over them to go because he's cutting in and breaking in and talking nonsense, red herring. And then he's going to tell you in here, that's not a red herring. That's not. It's just not. It's not a red herring. So just because you say it, it's not, it's just not. Well, he said it's not a red herring. Well, what does this definition agree? And we're going to see if his behavior fits this red herring. Am I making it up? Or is this a classic red herring distraction tactic that he's introducing a secondary argument? Secondary. The fallacy gets its name from fox hunting. Wait a minute. This can be one of the most frustrating and effective fallacies to observe. The fallacy gets its name from fox hunting, especially from the practice of using smoke herring, which are red, to distract hounds from the scent of their quarry. Distraction. That's what it is. And you're going to see a whole bunch of distraction in here. Now let's get back to this dude and his red herrings. Watch him. Who are the people? And he's going to stick his own foot in his mouth with this. He's going to still run into a brick wall and stick his own foot in his mouth. But you watch the distraction.
Form your question again.
In this text, where you have the angry Jews, the believing, the believers there, be they Jew or Gentile, I don't know, and then you have James and Paul. Who is accusing Paul of teaching people to forsake Moses and all this stuff? Who is accusing him of doing these things in this text?
In this text. Okay, then you have to go back to the previous verse. If you're looking at the screen, it says, "Thou seest, brother, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe and are all zealous for the law." So they're talking about believing Jews which are zealous for the law is making complaints against Paul. Paul is teaching from rumors. It's a rumor. They are informed of thee.
Okay, so let me get this straight. You're saying that this text is saying that Jews that are zealous for the law are accusing Paul of teaching Gentiles to forsake Moses. That's what you're...
And this is exactly what I'm saying. So now all of this, he's acting like he's trying to get clarity and all of that. This is actually a distraction. Keep watching. Red herring. He's still in his red herring mode.
Saying?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Right. Before you continue...
Right, can I finish my point? Because that's really not.
You can definitely finish your point. I just wanted to say real quick that when you're finished, I'm going to show, and you can correct me if I'm wrong when I do this. I'm going to show that the people who are accusing Paul of these things are those unbelieving Jews.
Now, did you guys hear this? He's going to show that those people, now, mind you, this is a red herring argument. Instead of him showing how Christianity doesn't teach these things because he cannot, he goes into, well, who brought the rumors? And you're going to find, like I said, he's going to tell you himself. I'm going to let it play.
Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah. Go. All right. So now let me get that in the.
Hear the frustration? Because this is what red herrings do. It's just nonsense.
Right now, by just doing a simple step like I just did, which is impossible for you to prove that they're unbelieving. When it says here, there are which believe. So
now remember, he asks, who are bringing these accusations? What we're talking about is who brought these accusations to the Apostle James. because this is what this text is talking about. So watch how he try to spin this after he get his head busted right here. When he's going to ask me something simple, who are the people that's bringing the accusations? Who are the people? It's plainly in this text that the people that's bringing the accusation are the thousands of Jews which believe. I mean, this is simple elementary school stuff that this dude has to know. It's not like he don't know. I mean, come on, the brother, come on, man. And they are all zealous for the law. And they. So I'm going to let the video play.
It's impossible. And these folks, thou seest, brother, so this is where the conversation changes from Gentiles to Jews by James. How many thousands of Jews there are which believe. And then it goes on to say, and they. There are no verses in the original manuscripts. These were added later. So we know for a fact that the they that they're speaking to are Jews which believe. So it's impossible for you to prove a point that they were non-believing. But anyway, let me finish my point. And so these believing Jews that are zealous for the law have heard these rumors, and they brought them to the church.
So where? Okay.
When I finish, let me finish. Give me two minutes. Give me 2 minutes, and I'm going to finish. And they are informed of thee. These are the rumors. That thou let me finish. That thou teachest all the Jews which are among the Gentiles to forsake Moshe, saying that they ought not to circumcise their children, neither to walk after the customs. So these three teachings, and I'm wrapping it up. I know I'm going a little bit long. I'll be about 3-4 minutes so that you can respond. But so this is the teaching that Paul is being brought on the carpet, that the apostles feel is important enough to establish that Paul is not teaching. James is doing two things here. He's checking the teaching of Paul, and he's checking the walk of Paul to see whether Paul is teaching the law and to see whether Paul is keeping the law. How do we know that for sure? I'm going to go ahead and drop down to verse number 21. It says, do this, therefore, that we say to thee, we have 4 men which I have a vow on them. Verse 24, the key verse that I want, them take and purify. So do the law, make a public display that you are keeping the Mosaic law, and be at charge with them that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed of thee, so that they may know that these rumors are nothing, but they're false, so that you're not teaching folks that the law is done away with. You're not telling folks that circumcision causes you to fall from grace. You're not teaching folks that feast days, Sabbath days, and all of that is either optional or obsolete. You're not teaching those things, Paul. Paul made a public display that he was not teaching these things here. And here's the reason why James asked him. Verse number 24, he says that all may know that the rumors that they're informed of thee, in other words, the doctrines that later became Christianity, are nothing, but that thou thyself also walkest all orderly and keepest the law. That's the key point. They wanted to see what he was teaching and what he was doing. And they wanted to make sure that both of them had to do with that he was teaching the law of Moshe, and that he was actually keeping it himself. And this took place in 60 AD, some 30 years after the death, burial, resurrection, ascension of the Mashiach, and about 3 or 4 years before the death of James. Just to put this in historical context, James would be killed by Nero 3 years later. So he's at the end of his life. So all the revelation, all the knowledge that he would get as far as what the Mashiach taught him, and what the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit, which you guys call the Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost, would teach him. He's at the pinnacle of that. He's at the end of that. And he's still making sure that Paul is teaching the law and keeping the law. And that's in this text here. I got another one that I wanted to end up with for Romans, but I'll go ahead and let you respond, and I'll save that one for a moment. To put the icing on the cake, just to put it out there, in the book of Romans, chapter number 3, verses 7 and verses number 8, Paul wrote this during the same time, around between 58 and 60 AD, the same time as this apostolic council. That's when the book of Romans was written. And he wrote to them and he said, I never said these. The verbiage that you're reading is false, and not rather as we be slanderously reported, and some affirm that we say. Romans chapter number 8, and not rather. I didn't say these things. And some say that we say the verbiage are false. Let us do evil. In fact, Paul was calling these three doctrines evil. So folks that's teaching that the law is done away with, or that it's abolished, or that it's been changed and all that, they are evil. The folks that saying Hebrews shouldn't be circumcised, they are evil. The folks that saying
now y'all hear that? The folks that say Hebrews don't. I said this several times. Now you're gonna watch this devilish sister, and this disruly, disorderly sister. I don't think we're gonna get to that today because I'm getting ready to most likely end this in a little bit because I don't want to worry patience. I didn't know I was on here that long. I like to in the meantime give a shout out and say appreciate the support. Brother Linzel Lott Jr. In the building, my bro Craig in the building, Sister Sheikah, of course, in the building, Brother Melvin Rhines in the building, Brother Gideon Yisrael in the building. I appreciate you guys and appreciate you guys' support. And I'm gonna get right back into this. I just wanted to give you guys a shout out and say I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Also, those of you that will tune in and watch this video, I appreciate you guys as well.
Feast days, the Sabbath days, and all that. That is evil, and they destroyed, and they deserve to be destroyed. That's what Paul said out of his own mouth with his public denial. So you have two witnesses, this book of Acts and this book of Romans, that tell you the doctrines that became Christianity is false. So that's your answer.
Now I gave him his answer. Now let's see if he, now in a logical discussion, the next thing he should be doing is rebutting what I said. Christianity doesn't teach that, or Christianity teaches that because, nah, he didn't. He went into where, you watch, I'm not going to tell you what he went into again. Listen at it. Red herring.
Your three doctrines that are fundamental to traditional Christianity, which Paul himself condemned twice. He condemned it twice. And these are fundamental to Christianity. And this is why Christianity is not in line with the biblical mandate or the way, which is the way.
Okay, so I have some questions.
Mm-hmm.
More questions instead of rebuttal. Where's your rebuttal? Why is it that Christianity is condemned? Why is these doctrines being condemned? Why aren't you saying Christians don't teach this? Can y'all Christians out there, anybody, you guys answer that? Why is it that no one can answer these questions without the nonsense, without the logical fallacies? They'll tell you it's not a red herring. I just showed you guys a definition, and watch this guy go right. Let's see if he give us an answer with his question, or let's see if his question has relevance as to why Christianity teaches these doctrines that Paul is denying teaching these doctrines and condemn them in the book of Romans. Why is that going on? Watch how he totally ignores that and avoids the issue and go into something else. Let's see.
Can you go back up where it's verse 21?
Uh-huh.
Okay. It says, and they are informed of thee. Who's informed in this text?
Who is informed in the text? Can somebody out there please tell me that this is anything other than a red herring argument? Somebody show me that this is anything other than this brother attempting to avoid answering why Christianity is condemned, flat out condemned in this text. He cannot do it. So now, who are informed? And you're going to see them trip himself up. I guess we'll go for maybe about another 10, 15 minutes here. I'll sum it up, and then we'll save this for part number 2, because I'm not in any rush. I got receipt for days, hours and hours and hours of this brother sticking his foot in his mouth, among others, and Christians acting ungodly and being ignorant and obnoxious, because and blaming it on their religion, because that's what their religion teaches now, which goes directly against the Jesus they say they follow. You say you follow Jesus, then why is it that when he say that if you have an ought against your brother or you have a disagreement, you're supposed to go grab another brother, and then they totally bypass that. Totally bypass. They take rumors and lies from one another. They promulgate it out there, and I'm gonna show you that. I'm not gonna just talk about it. I'm gonna show you out of their own mouth. Like I said, they had a 4-hour session on me yesterday. I didn't even know about it. One of the daughters in Zion and brother reached out to me. Didn't even know about it. Didn't even invite me. And they said they don't have to. They don't have to listen to Jesus. They don't have to listen to Moses. They don't have to listen to anyone. Lawlessness. Don't have to love your neighbor, do good to them that despitefully use you. Even if you thought I did something to you, if I'm coming to you with respect and respectful, you should be respectful, right? That's not how these folks get down, and I'm going to show you. They expose themselves, and then the brethren sit there, even if you don't agree with it, why didn't you step up and say something about it? Why didn't you condemn it? But this brother right here, so real, Max, Salih, I got all the receipts. He was praising him. His sister called me a dog and all of that for this, for exegeting the text. Said this brother did very well. He did very well doing what? Running? Making secondary red herring art. You will see, and then read the comments. Oh my gosh, the ignorance of these folks. You said you're a Nazarene. Nazarenes was from the land, and they supposed to be scholastic, call themselves being condescending. Idiots. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and let this play.
Answer that, bro. The day that he's speaking of, all you have to do is go right up a half a verse, not even a half a verse, just one line, well, 2 lines, and it says, the Jews, the thousands of Jews, which believe that are zealous for the law. So these are believing Jews. These are not unbelievers. These are Messianic Hebrews, a part of James's organization. They're part of James's umbrella at the church at Jerusalem. This is why the elders were there they thought these rumors were serious enough to bring Paul on the carpet and make sure that he wasn't teaching those rumors. Yeah. So the Jews which believe is the people that are spoken of that heard the rumors.
Okay, so I'm trying to get to my next question, but you do kind of take a while, but I just like to listen. So the people that are informed are the people that are Jews who.
I want you guys to notice that we're still not dealing with his topic here. We're still not dealing with why is Christianity, since I gave him the answer, what doctrines does Christianity teach? Does traditional Christian doctrine teach? What does it? I gave him the answer. He's not addressing the answer. He's still dealing with this secondary argument, still dealing with this red herring about who, and I'm gonna have to let you guys see him get his foot stick in his mouth, because I gotta give up one receipt for the night. I gotta let you guys see. I promise you guys receipt, and I'm gonna let you guys see him stick his foot in his mouth at least.
Believe, right? And they're zealous for the law. These are the people that are informed. My next question is this. Who informed them? Did they inform themselves, or did some other group spawn these rumors? The reason why I'm asking this question is because of this. If you say that these people here are accusing Paul of this stuff, then verse 21 would not say that they have been informed or heard or been educated or heard or informed from some other source. They heard someone, it wouldn't, are accusing Paul of this stuff. Then verse 21 would not say that they have been informed or heard or been educated or heard or informed from some other source. They heard someone, it would not say. The reason why I'm asking this question is because of this. If you say that these people here are accusing Paul of this stuff, then verse 20.
Now notice I said that the people was there. He quoted what I said. Watch and listen to this carefully. He just said that I said these people were charging this, Paul with this before the apostles. Now watch this. He's going to make this whole red herring about how it's not. Watch. Just watch.
One would not say that they have been informed or heard or been educated or heard or informed from some other source. They heard someone. It would not say that. It would say they accuse him of actually teaching these things.
Did y'all hear that? Mark this down. This is what, 20? I don't know how to do this timestamp. 1 hour, is that 1 hour and 7? Is that how long we've been on here? Whatever this timestamp is, mark this timestamp right here where we're at. I'm gonna play that back for you guys real quick. This is one of the receipts. He about to stick his foot in his mouth.
Are accusing Paul of this stuff. Then verse 21 would not say that they have been informed or heard or been educated or heard or informed from some other source. They heard someone. It would not say that. It would say they accuse him of actually teaching these things, which goes directly against what you just stated, how you just said that these people here are the ones that are accusing Paul, which would actually go back to what I said earlier, how I wanted to show how it was those unbelieving Jews that his heart broke for in Romans 9. He wanted to have himself be a curse for them. Those are the people that basically accuse him of those things.
Now the text says those Jews which believe. Now he's going to try to talk his way, sweet talk his way into getting folk to think that it was talking about the unbelieving Jews. First and foremost, he believes he's so good. He is that good. Most of them do. He's under the delusion that he's just that good. He can smooth talk and say, no, even though you're looking at the Jews which believe, it's really those unbelieving Jews. This is what he's doing. You're going to watch this dude. The scripture says one thing. This is not rocket science. And this is not, you don't need a degree or none of that to see those Jews, thousands of Jews which believe, and they. So we shouldn't even be having this conversation to begin with, let alone taking up hours talking about it off your topic, that of your show, your topic, off your question, right? He has, the only time he's dealt with the issue or the topic was in the beginning. In the beginning, when he says, okay, we're going to talk about this and I'm going to ask him the question. Then he tried to come and play stupid like he forgot what the question was, whether we was on question number 2. In other words, I'm done. Can we move on? No, we're going to stay right here. So now he's done. He's done. But he's going to keep on rambling until he stick his own foot in his mouth.
Now, before I show you this in another chapter, am I wrong?
Oh, I forgot. Now, remember you said that these folks accused. Let's go back. These folks accused that these folks in this text was accusing Paul. And I submit to you that it was the unbelieving Jews. Remember that. I'm going to play that. He's going to stick his foot straight in his mouth and try to be so deep that he's going to tell you that, watch.
Which would actually go back to what I said earlier, how I wanted to show how it was those unbelieving Jews that his heart broke for in Romans 9. He wanted to have himself be a curse for them. Those are the people that basically you know, accuse him of those things. Now, before I show you this in another chapter, am I wrong?
Yes, you're absolutely wrong. I just showed you where you was wrong there, bro. And I'm absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, let me finish before you go on. Once again, I just showed you. It's not my opinion. This is elementary school logic. If we're in verse 21, it says, and they, the and connects that to what goes on before. And so if we see what goes on before, my screen just blanked out here. But if you see what goes on before, it says, thou seest, brothers, how many thousands of Jews there are which believe, which that contradicts your unbelieving hypothesis there, bro. You going against that is just not a good look, bro, because it's just pride.
Okay.
21 says, 21 says,
thank you. Thank you. All right. The part where I'm confused at, and you could forget all the pride and things like that, like I said, the part I'm confused at is, it says in verse 21, and they are informed of thee.
Right.
Now you say that these rumors are being spread or are basically coming from or originating from these zealous Jews that believe and are zealous of the law. You're saying it's coming from them. But verse 21, unless I don't understand, verse 21 is saying that these Jews.
Now, this is logical. Can anybody tell me who's standing there in front of James giving these complaints? Is it the unbelieving Jews? Or is it these thousands of Jews which believe, which are all zealous for the law? It's just that simple. It says nothing about unbelieving Jews in this text. So what he's doing now, and you're gonna see, he's gonna try to go somewhere else and try to, prove his point and all this other kind of stuff. When number one, it's a red herring argument. Never one time since this whole time we've been on here is he addressing his own topic. He's not even addressing the topic. But as you see, I promise, once he stick his foot in his mouth, then I'll end this and I'll pick it up on tomorrow and do part 2. And I'll finish up. Well, I probably won't finish up with him, but I'll be able to bring on, or maybe I'll shut this down and do that. Yeah, I'll just finish that. And then tomorrow we'll get into his backup that tried to come and save him and, made complete fools of themselves. Complete fools. They thought they were going to get a panel together and then they're going to come and do some damage control because they know this dude made a complete fool of himself. So we're going to let you remember where we're at now. We're dealing with and we're on point and watching for him to stick his foot in his mouth with saying that, like I told him, that these folks here were the accusers. He's going to stick his own foot in his mouth and tell you that he's just talking out the side of his neck.
Are informed of what Paul is teaching. Now, there's a difference between, being informed of something, like you're hearing something about somebody, which means you're not saying it, which means you're hearing somebody else say something. That's totally different from the person. Okay, so that's totally different from the person themselves accusing Paul of these things. See, the word there should not be, and they are informed of thee. Based on what you believe, the verse should say, and they accuse thee. You see that?
Did y'all catch that? Did you catch that? And they accuse. It's that's what I've been saying the whole time. But now he's saying, and the text should say they accuse thee. Listen at it.
So if they're informed of something that Paul is doing, who informed these Jews? Where did they hear these things?
He heard them from, I was trying to find the scripture. I was trying to find the. Oh man, this took me too long.
I'll tell you what.
I was trying to find the scripture that says they went out from among us, and you know. But let me put it this way, so I don't have to waste the time. Can I answer? Can I answer? Hello? Sure. Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Now, where they were hearing this from is the Gnostic Gentiles that was around during this time, and some Hebrews that had spiritualized the commandments. They had, you know, they no more law, circumcision, and they took this from Paul. Paul tells you that himself. He said, "Don't be shaken if by a letter from us or what have you doing."
Notice I said that. I'm using Paul as well. Don't be shaken by a letter from us. Using this as examples of the, well, I'm going to let it finish.
The first century, especially the end of the first century, you had the rise of the Gnostic Christians, which is the foundation, fundamental, what do you call it, the prototype of Christianity. You had proto-Christianity, which started rearing up toward the end of the, toward the end of the first century. So these folks was promulgating Christianity. The law is done away with. It's no longer, you know, valid. We don't have to keep it. The Jews don't have to keep it. The Gentiles don't have to keep it. No, I did not say that's in 1 John. What I said is...
Notice what I said. I'm talking about Paul. The last thing I said was Paul. That Paul said, you know, don't be shaken as so soon shaken, even if you get a letter from us. If anybody else come preach a different gospel, all these other kind of stuff. So these were people that was taking Paul's letters and all of that other kind of stuff. So I'm mentioning Paul. He's going back to John. So I'll go to John for him. Now watch how I get trapped up myself in dealing with him causing all of this nonsense. Check it out.
If you let me finish, then you'll get it. What I said is the whole New Testament in itself, the whole New Testament, the Brit Hadassah in itself, was written to combat the heresies of the first century.
Understand that the whole New Testament is the first heresies. Irenaeus is not the first person that wrote a treatise against heresies. The New Testament writings themselves was written against the heresy of their time, of the mid-50s and all of that, all the way up until the second century. So their writings was dealing with and addressing the heresies of the first century. He should know this. Any Bible student should know this. But watch how this goes.
The heresies. That's the first. Ignatius was not the first one. Let me finish. He was not the first one.
I totally get what you're saying. So based on that right there, my next question is, since it's not...
I can't even finish the discourse. He's into a next question. He's into a next question. You're not letting me finish. You're cutting me off. You still have not even addressed your own question and brought it back and made a point. You haven't even rebutted my answers to your question. As soon as I hit the rebuttal, bro just got totally off. And now we've been on this red herring chase like Scooby-Doo, chasing the red herring around, wasting time. Wasting time because the topic that we came for is not being discussed.
In 1 John, even though you quoted 1 John, where did these rumors come from? Now, so that's what I'm asking.
What are you talking to? If you listen to
okay,
me,
listen.
Listen.
Let me finish. I have to say this. You just got done saying that it came from the place where John had wrote and said they came out from among us. But
I'm wondering if you guys heard me say that. I said it came from the place. I said, and like I said, this whole video, and you guys have had the benefit of rewinding it back and forth, will be in on the channel. So I told him that the whole New Testament as a whole is the first treatise that was written against heresy. I told him about Paul. I told him about John. And yes, I did include John in that, but he wants to single out John because he thinks he's making a point in his distraction. He wants people to think that he's smart. He's gotten me on something. He's got me off the point because I didn't want to use First John. I wanted to go to Paul, where he say that you know, they what I really wanted was where they went out and they some even if you find a letter from us, if they write a letter from us, if they come with another gospel, let them be accursed. All of that stuff is where I was going at. But he's causing so much distraction now that I'm ending up in First John. I just said, forget it. He just, well, show me the scripture, send the scripture. So I just said First John. So watch.
Were never a part of us. That comes from First John. Then I ask you, oh, so these people that spawn this are the people that, you know, John is writing against, like he's wanting the church against, and you said no. Okay, well.
Now notice he never said who spawned this, who originated this. He said who's doing the accusing. Who are the accusers? The text itself tells you who the accusers are. So he's just trying to nitpick and find anything so he don't have to deal with my answer.
Maybe I misunderstood you. The answer to that question is yes. What I was saying is, if you let me finish and get it cleared through, what I was saying is that your New Testament, your all of your epistles, was written to combat the heresy, the Gnostic heresy.
I just want you to go to the scripture. I mean, that's nice.
See, cutting me off. Tom, I just want you to go to the scripture. I just want you to go to the scripture when you should already know what I'm saying is a fact. If you are an apologist, even if you're a student, one of the first things that you learn is that the New Testament is the first apologies against heresies. The apostles wrote the New Testament. This is what you learn. The apostles wrote the New Testament to combat the heresies. The Gospels was written to tell the true gospel message, to differentiate that between the heretics. That's what the whole New Testament is about. But now he's trying to narrow it down and trying to catch me on some point on a secondary red herring chase. We're not even dealing with, which then spent all this time and we're still not even. He asked the question, I answered it, and ever since then, he's run off on this red herring argument of his about who.
Okay, no problem, not a problem. First John. Let's go pick up First John.
I was trying to get to the part. I thought it was closer than this.
It should be a mute point. This is like a red herring because we're wasting time on stuff that already should be established, especially.
Actually, we're not. Okay. You have to go there. You know, we're not waste time at all. Okay, we're getting to the bottom.
Okay, cool. First John 2, verse 19. He that knoweth him, but whosoever keepeth his word. Wow. So yeah, you definitely so okay. 19. Let me get down to 19. Just had to get a bit of the context in there, make sure that I could use this. Oh my goodness, what did I just do? Now my computer's on. What did I just do? I just did something there. Okay, 1 John 2:19. Okay, matter of fact, let's start at 2:18. Little children, it is the last time, and as ye have heard that the Antichrist shall come. Even now are there many antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. They, who are they? The Antichrists, they went out from us. The folk that stood under Paul and then ran off and twisted Paul's words and spreaded false gospels. Paul tell you about too. So this should be common knowledge sense to folks that are especially apologists. That you know that the New Testament epistles were written, they were the first apologies against Gnosticism, against heresy, against most of which were Gnostic heretics like the Docetics doctrine that we have, which a lot of which we see in the Christian doctrine today, in Christianity today. So they went out from us. This is a waste of time, but anyway, but they were not of us. So the people that sit under us, that sit under Paul, that could say, I came from Paul. I sit under Paul. And this is what Paul was teaching. These are the folks that were spreading those rumors. Those folks are the ones, and the Hebrews got wind of it. The Hebrews got wind of it, brought it back to James. James said, we can't be having this, Paul. We got to make sure that you're not teaching these doctrines and that you yourself is still observing the Mosaic law. Hopefully that answers your question and we can get back onto,
Right. So my response to that is that if you say that this is where the rumors have come from, the reason why I find it, inconsistent is because the way that John describes these type of people. One, he describes them as antichrist. He says in his own epistles that those who do not believe that Christ has come in the flesh is antichrist. He also says that these people do not teach the doctrine of Christ. He says all kinds of things. And also, if that is the case, then that means that they are saying that Jesus did not come in the flesh, right? And also you're saying that these people are saying that we don't need to circumcise at all. We don't need to keep the law of Moses at all. But yet at this...
Now he's confusing himself. He's all on another secondary argument. This is a secondary argument. So now instead of who, now it's 1 John. This is not talking about, so anything but to answer the question. Anything but to answer the question. He's doing any and everything but to answer the question. And this is proof in itself. And I'm going to continue this on. I'm getting ready to close this off because it's getting late here. But this is, and I have tons more. So those of you guys is watching, be sure to tune in tomorrow. We will be continuing this on. This will be a series that I'm doing. This will not be one thing because I have a plethora of data, a plethora of receipts to deal with. So I'm going to let him finish his thought here. And it's like 3 minutes before 11. And I'm going to go ahead and close this out because it's going to be 2 hours long at that particular juncture. And I'm going to go ahead and shut it down and pick it up on part 2 on tomorrow, the Most High willing.
Same time, they don't even believe that Jesus came in the flesh to even come under the new covenant itself. The reason why that these people were strictly Gnostics is because Paul actually said that these are people that came to spy out our liberty.
All of this stuff has nothing to do with what we're talking about. I want you guys to pay attention to that. And like I said, when they do that, this is what's called a red herring argument. Oh, red herring argument. More distractions, distractions on top of distractions on top of distractions without even answering a single question, without even dealing with a single issue, which is his issue. I mean, it is just totally crazy. And they make you think all of this talking makes you seem like, oh yeah, they're having a discussion. This brother is saying nothing. A bunch of red herring argument. Oh, now we're way off on and we're about to get into some other stuff.
They were, it's funny because in some sense, we could tie that to the Judaizers because that's who he was talking about in Galatians.
In some sense, we can tie this to the Judaizers, but this has nothing to do with Acts 15 and 21. Remember, he just said that? See how he stick his foot in his mouth? This is what he just said. This has nothing to do with the Judaizers. No, I think you're inconsistent. The inconsistency that you have, I think you're being very inconsistent because this text is talking about people that don't believe in God. But in some sense, we can tie this to the Judaizers. Well, what was the chapter of Acts 15 talking about? and certain brothers which came down from Judea taught the brother. What was Acts 21? What he said Acts 21 was talking about. These, I think it reminds me of the Judaizers and all of this other kind of stuff. This is absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Going back and forward 1 minute in the same breath. You don't even wait to make a statement and then try to, let people get that and then try to come back later after. Right in the same context, this dude said, it's not talking about that, but in a certain sort of way, this refers to the Judaizers, which was being talked about in Acts 15 and according to him, 21. So I want you guys to take note of that as well. I'm closing this out. We'll be done in the next 2-3 minutes.
They said that they came to spy out our liberty. He was talking about the Judaizers, people who were Jews that believed in Jesus, but they wanted to keep the law of Moses. So I don't know, so the way that text is going, it's not talking at all about, something that's going on in Acts 21. Now my response.
Did you guys just hear this? It's not talking at all about what's going on in Acts 15 and 21. But yeah, it is talking about, see, this reminds me of the Judaizers. This goes back to the Judaizers. My gosh, people don't actually listen to them. And then they oh my goodness.
This is it. Because I heard you with 2 passages. So it's my turn now.
Watch them.
I'm going to go to Acts chapter 6. In Acts chapter 6, you have Stephen. Stephen is obviously the person that's, martyr. We know Stephen is the martyr, right? He dies because of the things that happen.
Okay, I'm going to speed this up because I want to get to this one part before I shut this down. I'm getting ready to shut this down. So I'm going to go ahead and speed it up real quick. He goes to Acts chapter number 6, talk about these unbelieving, these are not converted folk who lied on, matter of fact, I'm just playing.
Hello? Are you still there?
So he went out. That's what's going on now.
Hello?
With this Acts 6 and 1, the Most High didn't even want to deal with this nonsense.
Sorry. All right, so I want to go to Acts chapter 6, and this is what it says. It says this. I'm going to start at verse 10. It says.
Now notice. Now, in other of his videos, I have some of those receipts as well. When someone does this to him, he complains about it. No. We got to stay in the chapter. Don't go running. Acts the 6th chapter. He's all the way over into Acts the 6th chapter. This has absolutely nothing to do with the 15th and the 21st chapter. This is not a rebuttal to my definitive proof that the doctrines that they teach, Christianity, that is, the Christian doctrine is biblically unsound. Has absolutely nothing. This is not a rebuttal. He's not proving that I'm wrong. He's not even attempting to. What he's doing is adding a red herring argument on top of another red herring argument on top of another red herring argument to distract from the fact that he has no answers. None. This is your Christian apologists, your book writers, all these folks that got all these, you see all these videos and got flockers of followers and stuff like that just don't listen, to what's going on. The blind leading the blind. He's blind. This guy has no defense whatsoever. No, and I have, like I said, stay tuned. I have tons and tons of this guy's stuff. Tons of it. Where he just goes back and forth and blatantly say 2 different things and blatantly speak against the scriptures, like he just did. The Bible says that the people that accused him were the Jews which believed and that was zealous for the law. He's going to sit in your face while you reading this scripture and tell you, no, that's for the people that don't believe. No. Says they went out from us, but they wasn't among us. Now, who could they possibly be talking about? Huh? The same heretics that's running around saying, oh, we was a part of Peter, we was a part of James, we was a part of Paul, and spreading doctrines that they didn't teach. So I'm right on the subject. I'm right on subject, right on topic. James fits in there. And this dude he doesn't have it. He made a complete fool of himself, running around and never even dealt with the question. And every time he brought up a foolish red herring argument, I put the Bible there for him and he couldn't deal with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to close this out. But on tomorrow, we're gonna finish this up. We're going to finish this up. You're going to see him stick his foot in his mouth some more, go back and forth. Today, we just pretty much saw him running around. So he just running around. You know, we saw a couple contradictions, but it gets much, much worse. Much worse. And it is undeniable. He cannot deny it because it's his words out of his own mouth. Now, like I said, what you guys are going to see coming up in the second part is where he's going to go back and tell us that this scripture in Acts, chapter number 21 should read, and they are accused. And they are charging him. That's what he says, that it should say that they are accusing him. And they which were accusing him, the term informed means accused. After he spent a half an hour arguing that somebody else accused him and not these people in the text. It gets much, much worse for the brother here. And that's not even getting into the other 3 debates that I did with him, which I have access to. Which I'll be bringing out receipts from them, you know, showing that these guys, and I'm closing, you guys. I appreciate everyone that's coming out, that came out to take a look, you know, and support. I appreciate everyone that's going to see this video. Once again, like I said, you guys certainly want to go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell button so you guys can get these updates. These videos are going to be very good. Make sure you share them to both Hebrews and, Pauline Christians. The object for the Hebrews is to have tools in which to defend your faith. And this is one of them. Acts chapter 21, as you see, these guys are running. They have no answers. They have no solutions. They have no reason as to why the scriptures flat out condemns what they teach in traditional, classic, and fundamental Christianity. No excuse for it whatsoever. And so this is what you have to watch out for. And now see, these guys ran around posting video. Oh, he chewed you up, Sam. He tore you up. Now, I answer this question directly by giving him an expository walkthrough, like he said he wanted to walk through the scriptures, Acts 21 and 21 through Acts 21 verses 21. Actually, I started at verse 17 through 24, 25 it is. Walked them through it, gave you your answer out the Bible, extracted these heretical doctrines out the Bible. So now, like I said, we're going to see in this second session, this brother just going to tremendously stick his foot in his mouth, and then we'll try to get into this loudmouth sister. Remember, I told you guys the mark where I said that Hebrews, I said it several times, circumcision among Hebrews. Well, she went spreading around the Christian community, her and her a bunch of pastors that was supporting her lies in hypocrisy and deceit. Because she know very well that I didn't teach that, because she won't tell you in there. She watched this video, this one that I'm showing you guys now. She watched this video several times. She watched it several times. I watched it 3-4 times. So if you watched it, then you know very well I didn't say that Gentiles had to be. But this is what these folks do. When they don't have answers, they make up lies on you. They twist your words and what you say, just like they twist the scriptures. That's what they do. And so you guys have to be aware of that. And for you Christians out there, this is not a good look. Pauline Christians out there, not a good look. If any of you want to come on the platform and explain how the scriptures totally and utterly condemns Christianity, Pauline Christianity, which you guys subscribe to today. If you want to come on here and show me how Paul denied these claims, how Paul said that those that was teaching them deserved destruction, that the claims that the doctrines were evil. If you want to come on the program and rep your religion and do what no apologists, or I mean, out of all the thousands of apologists that I see, or hundreds, actually, not thousands, a little bit of an exaggeration, but all the hundreds of the apologists, Christian apologists and pastors and all of that, can't none of you guys deal with this and answer this? If I was you Christians, I would go and talk to my pastor, go and talk to these apologists and bring these things up. I know that they're pretty slick, just like this guy, Matt Salih, SSOREAL. I know that they're pretty slick and they like the, but this is why I'm exposing this. You're going to know what a red herring is. You're going to know what a straw man are. You're going to know what a logical fallacy is. So when you see these things, you know the tactics. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We shouldn't be ignorant. And so for those of you that have to communicate with these guys and go back and forth with these guys, when they post in the group, they want to have discussions with some Hebrews, guess what? I've been on this same verse, haven't left it for 3 years, and they can't do anything with it. And it gets very much so interesting each time I have a discussion with one of these so-called Christian apologists and pastors. It never gets dull. I stick to the same script. So when you see this previous video that I did, a debate with SSOREAL, and you see how I haven't even gotten into that one yet. That one was about a year ago on his channel. So when you see these things, I'm bringing it out of their mouths. I'm going to show it to you, bring the receipts out of their mouths. I'm going to let them hang themselves. That's what's going to go on. That's what's going to go on. Not so just like I pretty much did here, I've showed you guys in recap, and I'm done. That these guys have no answers. And when they can't answer, they resort to personal attacks, distractions, answering. Well, I just want to ask you a question. I want it to go like this, so that you never get your point across. So if you want to get your point across with these guys, and it still might not help, because the previous debate, he being SSOREAL and I had arrangements. He changed the title and he changed the format. But at least we had a timer on, and he was a little bit more better at, I guess, letting me get my 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it is. But as you see, when they can't answer, you're not getting 5 minutes. You're not getting 2 minutes. You're not getting anything near that. Every time you say something, they're going to be breaking in. And if they're not, if they're trying to be, if you got rules and they don't want to look too bad, then they're going to, when it's their time, they're not going to deal with the issues. They're going to ask secondary questions and bring up secondary issues that have nothing to do with the topics and the rules that they established in most cases. Hypocrisy, foolishness. So like I said, I appreciate everyone coming out. I'm going to say shalom to everyone. Everyone that will see this video, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe. You're going to want to hit that, what do you call it, that bell button, because we got some stuff coming up here, and we got receipts. I told these guys I was documenting a long time ago, a year or two ago, told them I was doing it. I have their preacher. I'm going to take their words and show you how ignorant, unlearned, unruly these folks really are. And they've proven it themselves. So I appreciate everyone coming out. Look forward to coming up with the part 2 on tomorrow. It will be a part 2 of the death of Pauline Christian Apologetics and Theology. As you've seen here, this brother has exhibited no apologetics. He has no apology, and he has no theology that makes sense whatsoever. All right. So I appreciate all you guys coming out. And I look forward to speaking with you guys, talking with you guys with this Death of Pauline, Christian Apologetics and Theology, Part 2 on tomorrow, the Most High willing. Peace.